See that guy? That's me. My excuse for looking like this? I'm a writer.
Eddie, maybe it's time to let the writing go.
But just in case you think nothing ever happened to me.
Eddie Mora!
Hey! Tell me about this book.
Well, how much have you written of it?
Not one word.
Well, I suppose I can help you with that. You know how they say that we can only access 20% of our brain? This lets you access all of it.
All right, for those who don't know, because the trailer is kind of misleading, if you ask me. In fact, the trailer made me look at this and say, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Well, what does the trailer even show? I mean, I know I see Bradley Cooper, I see Robert De Niro, and Bradley Cooper's wearing a nice suit, and that's all I
Robert
remember.
De Niro's, looking mad like he always does.
Yeah.
I only saw a little teaser, and I was like, this could be anything from Inception to Wall Street. I'm not really sure what.
The thing that had me afraid was that Howard Stern saw it and saying he loves it. He has the worst taste in movies.
Oh, my God. Whenever he says he does love something.
Because the last movie he loved last week, he was talking about how much he loved Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah.
So when he started saying how much he loved Limitless, I was like, oh,
That's the only thing where I kind of tune out. Like, I never tune out whenever Howard Stern opens up his mouth, but when he starts talking about movies, forget about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not alone in this.
No, you're not.
not at
You're
all.
not.
However, in this particular case,
But he's not like us, but when we tell you something is cool, then you can trust it.
you better listen.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Never read a bad comment on this site ever. Any of our
People
people.
know that we're movie geniuses.
We are.
We're always right, even when we disagree.
Yeah, it's true.
These are not opinions. These are facts.
These are
Somewhere
scholarly
in between
facts.
is the truth of opinions. You must decipher it, or you're going to have to go cut me a switch, young man.
Because we all take NZT, so that makes us smarter than
That's
everyone
right,
else.
man. And I'm thinking about writing a book. I'm right. Corey Coleman. Forward says, God damn it. But no,
I'm writing a book. I am not Cyrus.
I'm writing a book called Cyrus is Wrong. Except in this case.
Yeah,
because
in this case, yes.
this movie, now Leon just mentioned like 3 letters here, NZT. And people are like, what is that? Is that where I just got my tires changed today? No.
AIDS drug.
Silly people. No, that is a drug in this movie. Because this movie centers on a small little pill. Looks like a button. Looks like a plastic button. Don't even look like a pill.
It kind of looks like contact. That's what it looked like to me, like a little contact.
If it was
Contact
like
lens.
if you
If
made a
they-
transparent aspirin, that's what it would look like.
They had Coke bottle lens contact.
Yeah, exactly. Some shit you don't immediately want because you're like, that's going to be a bitch to put in my eye.
Yeah, they're like little lenses for very nerdy mice.
I think the Nazis used those to torture people.
But the thing is, now we're making fun of this drug. The thing is, though, is that when you take it, you become a 4-digit level IQ genius.
You are
like a
Unlike
Q card,
Corey.
unlike me.
What do you got? The thing with the numbers.
You take one of these, it's all right. Me, I'd have to take a bottle a day.
I mean, they say, they say man accesses 10 to 20% of his brain, but this allows you to access the full 100%.
Of course.
I would need a pill to access the 20% of my brain. So
It's funny because as much as I did enjoy this movie, it started off with that misnomer, and I hate that.
I know.
Because it says, and they always pick a number out of their ass. Oh, they only use 3%. Oh, they only use 13%.
Yeah, they use 20. I'm like, I've never heard 20
Okay,
before.
the truth is it's something like 13 or 14, but it doesn't mean you only use that portion. It means at any given moment you're using that. And you use the whole brain all day, every day.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I hate that whole misconception
There's
when
no
people throw
part
that
of the
around.
brain sitting there going, man, once you turn me on, we're going to telekinetic some shit.
Being a robot, I completely I've lived this story already. So it just got boring with all the success because you forget what this film fails to point out to you is all the assholes you attract when you are a super genius like myself.
Well,
Yeah, it
the
sucks.
thing is, this is essentially like the best Coke ever. You know?
To me, I thought of it as ecstasy. They did such a great job of filming like what happens when the drug takes effect, and I was like, damn it. I miss ecstasy.
Well, no, he's right, though, because
on Coke, you feel like you're the smartest guy in the world.
Yeah,
and you
you're
do
right.
kind of perform pretty well because of that confidence it gives you, but you're not actually any smarter. Here, you really are a lot smarter.
Yeah,
you're
you
the
don't-
smartest guy on the planet.
No, it is not like ecstasy because where this drug opens up in this movie, the rest, the 80% of the remaining part of your brain, if it was the equivalent of ecstasy, you'd be using they say you only use 20% of your dick. You'd be using it that dick on everything. He'd be fucking doors, cars. If it was this drug right here.
That wouldn't just be X, that'd be triple X.
Well, what's cool is how we start out with Bradley Cooper's character. I forgot what his name is.
Well, no, you're right. It starts out with Bradley Cooper. He has a name. He even has a loser name, Eddie Mora.
Yeah, Eddie Mora.
And it opens up with this dude. Now, it opens up with him standing on the ledge of his luxury apartment / fortress, and he's about to jump. Why? Because he's in trouble. Somebody's at the door. They're breaking through. They're going to kill him, and that's only the beginning of his shitty life. We jump back a little bit in time, and it opens up him narrating just how much of a loser he started out. And we see him wandering the streets. He looks homeless.
Yeah,
he's got
like a bum.
bad hair. He look at bags under his eyes. They ain't shaved in like 4 days. And the reason why is because, well, he's a writer. And we know, I know our writers look like,
But he goes, we're writers, so what are you going to do?
He's walking around.
I know what that's like.
No, that's funny. Like, if you know any writers, you go like, they nailed it. That's just how it is.
He's actually walking around looking like Carlisle. Just
RP was an Oscar. He'd be a musician.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it is funny just how much, like, he's such a loser, but such a realistic loser, where, like, man, I've known so many guys like this who are intelligent, but they don't know how to translate that into success.
They don't have
all.
the motivation. They can't bring themselves to actually do it. They go, you know what would be easier than actually doing this big plan I've got? Playing this game.
And more importantly, they don't have the women that this guy has. I mean, we still have to remember it's still
Bradley Cooper. So yeah, when you see his girlfriends or his ex-girlfriends, you're like, shit. I know losers who can't even get half that.
Well, that's the thing in this movie. By the way, the other half of like people who are like him, instead of writing, what do? They go to a coffee shop and talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they bring their laptop and just stare at it all day.
Yeah, they surf the net.
But yeah, he is that frustrating guy where he is smart, but just doesn't meet his potential. I mean, he's smart enough to somehow get somebody to give him a book deal. The thing is, he just can't finish the book. He's attractive enough to get a girlfriend, a good-looking girlfriend, but soon the girl finds out that this guy is not only a loser, but he's sucking off me. I'm paying for everything. He's living at my place.
You know what? It's that point that hurts you when you watch him, because it's like, it's bad enough his life is shitty, and you could see yourself getting there, but like, we catch him on the day that this girl breaks up with him, and he's just like, oh, dude, that just hurts me.
You know what? It's like, you go, you probably do really need this. He's the guy who's developed the system for conning people in small ways to get what he needs. Not in any deliberate way, just because he's too lazy to do it for himself. And he's obviously been conning this girlfriend to, fucking him and paying for his shit for a while now.
It's not even conning him. He just happened to attract a girl who thought he was cute.
Yeah.
Was attracted to him at first because he was the artistic type, and then she finally realized, I'm going broke supporting this motherfucker.
You know a lot about this.
Yeah. I mean,
You have an interesting insight on that character.
Spill wasn't born in a day.
Hey, come on, man. But his girlfriend is played by Abby Cornish. If you've seen this girl, she's hot. We catch him on the day where, she's breaking up with him, and he's just having a shitty week. He's walking down the street, and we also learn that he's been divorced. I mean, surprise, surprise. But he runs into his ex-brother-in-law, who says, hey, man, look, I ain't got nothing against you. You cool with me. I ain't even talked to my sister in a while. Tell you what, let's go get a beer, and you tell me about this so-called book you're writing. And he tells him, I'm having writer's block. I just don't feel the creative juices flowing. Whatever, excuses. He's like, look, man, puts a little pill on the table. Take this. You don't know it yet, but I just saved your career and perhaps your life. You're going to thank me later.
Here's the key is that, and it is key because I know people are going to go, why in the fuck would anybody take that pill from this guy you barely even know, haven't seen in years? And the reason is because he convinces him, goes, look, this is like an $800 pharmaceutical. I work for this big company. It's FDA approved. It's going to be out on the street soon. It's like the most amazing thing you will ever take. Just trust me.
Oh, yeah.
And he sells it. He's like, oh man, what else do I got?
Well, it's funny because the guy, the brother-in-law, is, a self-professed ex-drug dealer.
Yeah.
And you look at him, he looks like a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything about him is like the clothes he's wearing are too expensive for the kind of guy he is.
And he looks just sleazy. It's played by an actor named Johnny Whitworth. I mean, anytime a guy with a sleazy smile and a pompadour tells you to do something, don't do it.
I know. It still made you think, okay, come on, dude. This is like the brother of the girl you just broke up with. How do you know this shit isn't cyanide? I mean, just looking at it, I was like, wow, it's clear. Do I really need to fucking take this? But,
Well, it was a couple of years ago they broke up.
Yeah, it was
Still,
a few years. But
some people can still hold on to a 2-year grudge.
but one of the things I think about the beauty of the movie is how it is so like you go like, ain't no way I take that. I don't trust that guy. And yet he is in such a desperate situation where it is like, fuck it. I'll take the one. What's the worst they can do?
Yeah.
So, Eddie, you are interested after all.
That stuff's amazing.
Works better if you're already smart.
Vern, who did this to you?
Trust me, you don't want to know.
What's it called?
Doesn't have a street name yet. But the boys in the kitchen are calling it NZT-48.
The boys in the kitchen? That doesn't sound very FDA approved, Vern.
FDA approved, that's a laugh. You never even believe that shit, did you?
Okay, so what do we have here? Some unknown, untested, possibly dangerous drug scammed out of some unidentified lab somewhere, given to me by a highly unreliable guy I hadn't seen in years.
So you want some more?
Yes, definitely.
And it doesn't do the worst. It does the best.
It does the
ever.
best. I mean, he takes it. At first, he feels it. He's like, "Oh, I'm feeling good." And he's like, "I'm not just feeling good. I'm seeing things for what they are." I mean, he turns into, he's a superhero. I mean, he turns into Daredevil, except he can see. All his senses are attuned. He can focus. His concentration is greater. Basically, he's become, in 30 seconds, a genius. From that point on, I mean,
A brainiac.
His memory is flawless. Like everything he's ever seen in his life, he has complete recall and understanding.
Oh, he's also like Sherlock Holmes. He can look at things and just put clues together, because not only can he just put everything together right there on the spot, but he's having total, just recall of stuff from years ago in college, childhood.
Like stuff from TV that was playing in the background from someplace he was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
To boil it down, he's fucking awesome.
He is made of wind.
Now, the thing is, of course, we know that this is too good. This is too good to be true. There's got to be
Anything that good, there's got to go out.
There's
downhill.
a side effect. There's somebody chasing after it. There's something. It's not going to last.
Yeah, he
whatever
doesn't
it is.
have a costume, so the supervillain isn't going to be the issue. Something else is going to go wrong.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's not like you got spilled toxic waste on you and you got superpowers. You have a limited supply of what you have right here, so you have to use it wisely. But I mean, it is when it's all said and done, a drug, and there are very severe side effects to just that substance alone. But also, he does things like he quadruples his income by being able to not only write 5 books in a day, but he can play the stock market. He can figure out the numbers. He can figure out algorithms to figure out business patterns, and he becomes involved in the stock market. And then to invest in himself, he makes deals with.
He can nail any chick he wants.
While fucking just traveling through time. and he bang girls while traveling through time. That's all you need to say.
And he also, but the thing is, he just, even though he's this smart, he's still not thinking ahead. He makes deals with criminals to give him investments. So as you can see, that given between having a limited supply of a drug, side effects of the drug, being involved in the stock market, which is shaky itself, and being involved with criminals, which is also like being involved in the stock market, it's all going to come crashing down at some point, and possibly all at one time. And this is all adding up to where you kind of say, all right, now I really want to know why this guy's going to kill himself at the beginning, because yeah, he should probably go ahead and jump now.
It's one of those stories that I love, where you watch a smart guy slowly get himself into a pickle that gets worse and worse and worse, to the point you're like, dude, I don't see how you could possibly get out of this. And they have to think their way out of it. And, the thing you don't think about is having something that gives you superpowers. You're not going to be the only person who wants that. If anybody else knows about it, they're going to want it, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get it away from you.
And not to mention that if they're on it too, they are a real competition for you in trying to figure shit out on top. You're like, crap, I got to think versus the other big thinky guy.
Which is a lot of the motivation for this movie. It's not so much somebody's after this guy throughout the whole movie. It's more like the people who he comes in contact with, how they interact once they happen to, take this fucking Charlie Sheen pill and they get that taste, and all you think is oh fuck! There goes your first problem, and these problems start to build. Just as the guy's trying to figure out what exactly is going on, especially with these odd side effects. But which is the fun part of the movie, because it really does feel like you're watching a superhero movie mixed in with a Twilight Zone episode.
Robert De Niro, who plays here sort of the head of a big financial institution that Bradley Cooper's character goes to work for at one point, puts it perfectly when he says that smart people are at their, I'm paraphrasing, but smart people are at their worst when they forget that there's always someone smarter than them out there. They get arrogant, they get careless, and sure enough, he falls into the trap of his own hubris, of his own pride at points. The thing about it, though, is you'd expect any other movie like this, like stuff we've seen before, to just go, okay, now we're just on that downward slide, and here's where the fall goes to that point, and that's it. It's a moral play, right? Except it's not a moral play at all. It's not.
I mean, it is, but it's not just that.
Yeah, no, it's so much more than that. It goes places you really don't expect it to go.
Yeah.
Especially with its conclusion.
Well, there's things about this movie that I really love because it takes me back to a movie that I saw a long time ago. And I'll say what that movie is in a little while because from the moment the movie opens up, I mean, they do the narration, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not these days a big fan of narration because it's so easy to do a story that way instead of it goes back to the whole thing of show don't tell, and people churn out scripts so much these days that narration is an easy device. But from the moment the credits hit in this film, it had a visual style that honestly I had never seen before. And I'm sure it's a very simple computer effect that they've done, but to give you, and you don't even know what's happening yet, but to give you kind of like the sensory perception that this guy almost like the sensory overload that this guy's getting. The opening credits zoom through New York, going through windows and streets and past people, and it's an amazing effect. And then
it's dizzying.
It's almost I mean, I heard people feeling like one woman was behind me with her hands up, like she's on a roller coaster. Like, yeah, did you hear this?
No, you're right.
And then the music, the soundtrack kicks in, and it's like an indie rock soundtrack. And then you have Bradley Cooper's narration, which goes along with what they continue to do with the visuals that last throughout this whole film. Now, at first, I'm thinking all right, this could go one or two ways because all of the above, the narration, the music, the visual effects, we always use that that saying that, man, this if not used if not used wisely, these powers that this movie has, it can look like just an overexpensive independent film or student film, but this reminded me of when they brought all those elements together in one perfect package called Fight Club.
Yeah. It's that same kind of smart movie, and the narration is in there, and it's not narrated. There's no narration that comes after the movie was done. It's written for that, and and every bit of it is smart. It's a tight script. It's a tight plot. I couldn't find any major, really any holes in it.
There's one tiny little one with cell phone service, but that was it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, how could there possibly not be cell phone service at like an $8.5 million high rise?
Because he's probably on AT&T.
Well, that and well, that and the other thing is like as AT&T is unreliable, apparently so are the cops too in this world because a lot of the stuff going on, I was just like, okay, at this point there should be at least a hint of a siren outside.
He's smarter than the cops.
He controls the cops with it. You know how most people bribe cops? He just controls them with his mind.
Oh, I forgot.
He's so smart.
Yeah.
I just want to see Limitless 2 where he becomes the nemesis to Superman.
I mean, the thing is that the whole narration, like you were saying, usually those are big warning signs to me at the beginning of any movie where I'm just like, okay, great. I'm gonna watch another fucking film that I can't stand with Brad Cooper, which I'm not a fan of that guy at all.
Did you like The Hangover?
I liked him in it, but I thought he was good because of everyone else he was around. But I know I've never been a fan of his at all. I mean,
he gets uncomfortable.
He was in Stealth. He was in Stealth, and I just thought he sucked. I'm like, wow, this guy.
That was Josh Lucas.
Oh, okay. That's the guy I keep confusing him.
Come on, can't hold it against him. Somebody else's movie.
No. But I've seen.
He looks like that guy, and I hate him.
Yeah, I've seen other movies with this guy, and I just never thought that. Wow, I don't think this guy could ever really like carry a movie, but wow, did he really like blow me away in this film?
This is
watching
his
him.
stepping forward.
He really did.
Hey, Hollywood, pay attention to me.
Yeah, I mean,
I am a leading man.
His scenes with Robert De Niro were just incredible.
They were.
I mean, I was just like my robot jaw dropped during one of the scenes. Yeah, that they were in. Where I was like, oh shit.
Well, it's funny how De Niro comes on. It's like, oh man, he's doing that sleepwalking thing he's been doing lately. But he really does come alive toward the end.
And he holds back. I mean, he's playing a character that requires somebody of, with, I guess, his glare, if nothing else. And he's not an Al Pacino. He's not coming in and just pulling out from a little back.
No, he knows he's a supporting character here, and he has no
really
business trying to steal the show.
Right. You know, something a very small thing that I loved about this movie, the vomiting looked real. There's so many movies where people throw up and you know that all they did was just dump out what they had, like a mouthful. But here, it's a full-on vomit. And I'm like, that's how you vomit.
Well, I thought it looked real only because of the way it was shot, which it's not shot like a typical vomit
No,
scene.
not at all.
I mean, it really has a big effect on
somebody
it.
put Visine in his oatmeal or something, right? And then they had the camera waiting and like, come here, man, look. And he's outside.
I know.
Whoa.
But there's so many artistic and creative shots throughout this movie.
Well, I mean, the film, that's the biggest thing that compares it to Fight Club is that you're like, wow, this has constantly changing up and doing new innovative stuff. I mean, at points it reminded me a little Michel Gondry stuff. stuff. At points, it reminded me more of Fight Club. But with the story, yeah, you can't. I mean, it's not like it compares to Fight Club, but you still get that vibe of awesomeness. It's so tight. It's so unexpected. And like I said, in many ways, it is just straight up just a totally new superhero story.
It is. No, it is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I was going to say it is. No, it is. I mean, it's just like, it's almost like one of those most laid back but very smart superhero films out there.
Well, it's like, I mean, I want to say it's kind of like a new Unbreakable in a way, or just a film that you just don't expect to really see a superhero origin story from, and which pretty much this was, even though I think it's a lot smarter. But just the characters alone, I mean, how they're really fleshed out. And you're right. I mean, there was hardly any flaws with this movie at all. I was completely engaged and immersed in this film, even to the point where I'm like, there's no like real typical storyline going here. And I think that's what I liked about it. It was kind of just going through the motions with him running into these characters, causing these situations, and seeing how he plays them out, and seeing how he outsmarts people.
Well, Bradley Cooper is the one that carries. He's a producer here, but you probably didn't like Bradley Cooper because of the characters that he played. He got cast for being, a handsome guy. So I remember when I first saw him, and I didn't like him because he was in Wedding Chasers.
That's
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers. Compete with him. You're
I did.
No, he'd been on Alias for years, and I didn't like his character on Alias.
I liked him on Alias until they kind of made him until we found out about Sydney's character, and then you're like,
Yeah, you're right.
And he was in A-Team, right?
Yes, he was in
A-Team. Okay, and I didn't
like him in that. No, it's almost like when they typecast him in those roles. I don't like him because I am looking at him like I'm the cocky motherfucker in the room, not you. Goddamn, how dare you have more money and ass than me?
Fuck you, old blue eyes.
I'll poke those blue eyes out of you, but not he was. I think he was typecast, and I think he's a little bit smarter than that. I think he saw that coming. He's like, I need to go ahead and take the reins. He was on the cover of GQ right when Hangover came out, and a lot of people saw that. They say, this is a guy that you're going to have to look for because he's more than just, as they say, just a pretty face. And he did carry this movie, and I enjoyed him in here. The only thing I probably didn't enjoy about it, and saying I didn't enjoy it is probably a little bit of an exaggeration. It's just when they get into the whole stock market part of the story, I thought it was a little weighty. I mean, and maybe that's just not my thing, But I mean, there's a lot of talk about numbers and what, and I'm just not good at math.
It's a lot like all the card playing scenes in Casino Royale.
Oh, the only problem is that it goes.
You would nod your head.
Because I wasn't listening, and it sunk in. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
It's a film that goes where you do understand everything that's happening, and then you've got the stock market sequences where he is just talking like he's been doing this for 50 years and is just a boy wonder. And that's part of the idea. You're supposed to be baffled. I mean, there's no way any audience members know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, that is so the thing. So often they have a movie where they try to make a guy, they say like, oh, this guy, he's super smart, but he's talking, and it's like, well, I understand what he's saying, so he can't be all that smart.
Right. And here you really will not understand what he's saying.
Well, there's so much action going on in the movie, and when he sits down to do math, it's kind of, I don't think it throws off the pace of the film, but it does feel a little bit different. But that's not a terrible part of the movie to me. It's something I can overlook because even then they keep it going fast. They keep it visual. I mean, the moment where he starts to understand all the numbers on the stock market, you see around his room. No, it's the part when he begins to have an outpour of words to write his book, and you just see letters falling like raining from the sky as the camera's circling around him. And it's just little creative visual touches like that really help keep the momentum of the movie up. And I love just how disorienting you felt when he was feeling it, because there's a moment where you feel from the very beginning, even when the drug is working, you just kind of just start to feel dizzy and you start to almost have vertigo. And then when the side effects kick in, that's when it's really crazy. There's an amazing scene in this movie where he blacks out off and on for 18 hours. And you see moments of him in a fight, making out with a chick, having sex in a black club, dancing with black chicks.
The thing is, what really sells this drug is even during that 18-hour blackout, which okay, this is bad news. But during that 18 hours, he is living the life.
Still a badass.
Are you like, God damn it, I want that.
I think he's lived.
Even if I can die at the end of it, I want to do that.
I think he lived more than any of us in this room.
Exactly.
And that's why I have to keep telling myself it's only a movie. It's only a movie.
I don't know, man.
It's all script.
When I was in Croatia, I have visions of an accordion, a sheep somewhere that was a clown. I don't know, but when I woke up, I was in a barn.
Those sound like
you definitely should not have taken the clear pill.
Those sound like
well, they weren't even
childhood
pill.
issues.
All I had was one beer. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah, that Croatian beer is dangerous stuff.
Next thing, no, I was on a plane back to Austria. It's like, how did I get here? But no, it's but really the movie. That's another thing that it does with the visuals. It's not just like, oh, look, we got the budget just to put a bunch of special effects in here. No, they really do make you feel like you are losing your shit with this guy. It makes you feel ill almost with what he's going through. I mean, it's fun at first when he's having the best night of his life, but when it's all done, you just feel like somebody just ejaculated all over you because it's like, wow.
What's that like, Corey?
Yeah. Tell us about that experience, please.
It's so creamy.
You feel like a tween.
You make it too easy for me today. I'm like, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
I feel like a chicken steak sandwich with gravy. Wow. But no, I really did enjoy this film, and I'll just go ahead and give my rating right now. The movie's a lot of fun, and it tells its story in a very entertaining way, and that's why I loved it. However, the movie's not perfect either. It's not perfect by a long shot. For one, as well told as this story is, the ending feels like somewhat of a cop-out. And while there is a certain amount of cleverness there, it seems like they exaggerated it just a little bit to take the easy way out. And two, this pharmaceutical company that created this crazy, incredible drug here, they're treated like somewhat of a neglected afterthought. I would think that a pharmaceutical company that has created something as revolutionary as this drug would have a stronger presence in this world and also in this film. And I didn't get that. I mean, it is one of those movies where I think a lot of people, it's either going to appeal to them or not. I even think back to when Fight Club came out. The story, it's the same way here. It gets very violent, even though this is a PG-13 film. So it doesn't go to that level. But, this guy, you either, when the movie's done, you decide whether or not you like him. I mean, because even though it seems like things are going his way, he still can come off as somewhat of a bad character, just because, as you said, he's very cocky. He just falls victim to his own ego. Some people might not like his character. Some people might not like how crazy this movie gets. But some people might say it's ridiculous, too.
Now, fuck those people. You keep trying to speak for all these people who are morons.
I speak for the people, man.
What drug did you take?
I think these people. I think there are people who are just not gonna see what we saw in it. But for me, it was a full price.
I tell you what. My days of experiment with drugs when I was younger. I'm past all that now.
Sure.
Till I just saw this movie.
I know.
Right? I'm ready to go out and get whatever I can to try to synthesize
it makes you go, where was that drug? That's the one I want.
Well, I mean, it does take you on that moral roller coaster of like, okay, you have this thing that's awesome, but there's going to be side effects. Will you do it? You're like, no way. Then you see what it can do. You're like, well, maybe. Then you hear about what the real side effects are. You're like, oh, fuck, no. Then a little bit longer, you're like, well.
Yeah.
I would do it and stop after a while.
Fuck those side effects. Why you get this?
Design the plan, write down as much as you can, make like a couple million, and then get out.
Yeah, and that's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen because it feels too awesome being the smartest guy in the world.
Motivation doesn't
taking this drug, you live a lifetime in 18 hours. You can die after that.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that is the thing about it. But man, what a smart, funny, just fantastic looking movie where all the money just went in all the right places. And I'm just so shocked to have seen so many good movies so early in the year, because this is one of those dog times. And I mean, hey, if you watch this movie and you don't get it's not your thing, you don't need to be my friend anymore.
Oh, jeez.
I'll just go ahead and throw it out there.
My friend said the same thing about Alien 3. If you don't get this movie, there's no, what's the point of me being friends with you?
You go to Facebook, unfriend.
See ya.
This movie has everything I could want, and just at a point where I thought, okay, here's where these movies typically slow down, or they just try to wrap it up too fast, or hey, what about this one plot hole I've been thinking about the whole time? And sure enough, by the end, they cleared it up. They had the solution for it.
I know what you're talking about. We even talked about it in the theater, and it's like,
exactly.
Man, that sucks that they're leaving that. Oh,
they fixed it. Yeah. So absolutely a full price movie.
You know what? I'm agree with everything you said completely. I was engaged by this film from every frame of it. I couldn't believe how much I was enjoying it. I was almost worrying it was one of those times that I was going to be that guy, like this film was so for me and that nobody else really got it. They're like, I was just like wrapped up in it. And I'm going to do something that I've only done a few times before on the site.
Oh,
I am. I'm going to give this a better than sex.
Wow.
I thought this was spectacular. spectacular.
You know what? I was so on the cusp of the. It's like I had that feeling like, you know what? Later, maybe later tonight, I'll think back to it and go like, oh, I should have said Better Than Sex.
Yeah, this was great. I hardly wait to see it again.
Yeah.
No, it is one of those movies where I don't know. I can't remember the director's name right now.
Oh, Neil Berger.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you had one of those before? They're great. They're great with cheese and horseradish.
He's a good burger.
Good burger. That's one tasty burger. No, I don't know if this guy's done anything before. Oh, really?
What's he done?
Yeah.
Mr. Computer?
No. That's the other. That's Neil Royale with cheese. That's the other one.
No, I was just looking at what he's done. He's done The Illusionist.
Oh,
I love The Illusionist.
An interview with the assassin.
Oh, okay.
Never saw that.
Well, you know what? With this movie, though, he definitely got my attention more so than he did with The Illusionist. But yeah, it does seem like when I was watching this, it felt like, wow, I'm watching like a new breakthrough director, like really giving me something I haven't seen in a long time since, you're right, Fight Club. And no, just I actually love the characters, love the pacing of it. I mean, there were a few moments where I was like, okay, this is really great, but where is this going now?
Yeah.
There's some points
got a little bit too convoluted.
Yeah. In near the middle of the film, but it's just one of those movies that constantly kept me engaged. And like I said, it really did give me little hints of a superhero movie, you know, mixed in with Twilight Zone, which I really fucking love. So I'm going to give this a full price. The only thing keeping me from saying Better Than Sex is that I needed a fucking shot of him flying up into the fucking space. I just needed that Neo shot just to really go, okay.
Super smart
exactly.
guy!
I was expecting that the whole time he was on that ledge. He was like, dude, you're the smartest man alive. Just fucking fly already.
Yeah, start the Rage Against the Machine music.
Exactly.
And let's end this thing.
I just levitate, real fast. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna go out and take my own super pill, which is called a shot of whiskey. Now, it doesn't make me very smart, but it makes me think I'm very smart for about 3 hours.
It gets you in the fights.
It gets me in the fights. Yeah, so occasionally will get me laid, and then when it wears off, I'm stupid again. So.
The difference being is that you think you're smart during it. Everyone else thinks you're dumber.
It's okay.
Your powers are not earned. You're careless with those powers. Have you asked yourself what you're going to do when you run out? You'll die.
No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
There's no scenario in which you'd lead this life where you don't work for me.
No scenario. I see every scenario. I see 50 scenarios. That's what it does, Carl. It puts me 50 moves ahead of you.
Worth
the risk? What would you do?